Well, Tucker, actually, I'm glad you brought it up. That was going to be the topic of tonight's subject right after Karen shooting Big Black's interrogation, where she breaks down about some big black guy about to walk into the car. If I was on there, hey, look, I'm not saying I could match Big Black's inches, but Tucker here running 3 to 5 times a week, usually all over the internet, blowing up for Fox News, and every time you click on the button, I mean,
yesterday we learned that Mark
30
Milley, chairman
years
of
of
the Chiefs
it,
of Staff,
I
is a
bet
danger
he-
to the country. That was not totally surprising. We already knew he was a reckless nutcase. In June, in the middle of a televised congressional hearing, Milley leveled a racial attack against more than half of this country. Milley told Congress
It's always
that
been
something
that
called
fight.
white rage was
Always.
a
We
national
just
crisis.
posted one up about Sam.
He never proved it or even defined the term, and yet still he kept his job, which says as much about Congress as it does about him.
Wait a minute.
Then in July, we learned that
There we
Milley
go.
had suggested the U.S. military was
Yeah,
willing to
so
use
back to
violence
it.
against
You know, when I'm
Donald
just
Trump,
letting this
who was
crank
then
out in the
sitting
background
president.
to my game of
We're
chess.
the guys with guns.
Instead of just
told
on the
fellow
back of her
officers.
incident case where I could
Still,
have clicked
Congress
it.
did
Could have
nothing.
clicked it. That would have been the
Now,
difference,
thanks
Your
to a
Honor.
new book by
I mean, it was
Bob
good
Woodward
without
and
that
Bob
in that
Costa,
video
we've
of
learned that
matching
Milley
me
secretly
sliding this in
collaborated
there.
with our greatest
Click.
military rival, the government of China.
Protocol
On
on
October 30th
tasers,
last year,
model,
according to the
system.
book, Milley called his counterpart in China,
I
Chinese
mean,
general.
so
He did not
good.
tell his boss about the call, either before he made it or after. Here was Milley's
Check
message to the
this,
Chinese
come
military.
back over here, click this
We're not
little
going to
button
attack
right
or
here.
conduct any
Type
kinetic
it.
operations against you. General Lee, you and I have known each other for 5 years.
Backwards on
If we're
bulletproof
going to
glass,
attack, I'm
derivative
going to
L,
call you
derivative
ahead
T.
of time. It's not going to be a surprise.
This gravity
It's
right
hard to
here
believe that conversation actually
pretty
took
much
place,
burns
but
down to the
apparently
ground.
it did.
Pretty straight,
More than
simple,
24
cheat
hours
code,
after
up,
it was
down, left,
reported,
right,
Mark
spin
Milley has
charm,
not denied
fatality,
it. Instead, his
Mortal
spokesman
Kombat.
released a statement today confirming that Milley does regularly speak to Chinese military officials, but claiming that those calls are
Well,
authorized
if you look at
by
it
civilian
like-
leaders at
well,
the
if you play
Pentagon.
it like
That
I
turns
do
out to
it.
be a lie.
Anything
Just
Tucker's
hours
about to
ago,
say
the
over the
former
course
Secretary of
has
Defense,
covered
Christopher
one
Miller,
of the
told Fox
actions
News
of
he had
spooky
no
distance,
idea what Mark
legal
Milley was
presidents
talking
on
about.
the
Quote,
the
as
lensing
Secretary of
parameter
Defense, I
problems
did
of
not and would
readjusting
not
and
ever
renormalizing the
authorize
telescope.
such conduct. As
Laser
Miller
beam.
put it, quote, a lesser-ranking
Hadron collider.
officer accused of such behavior would immediately be relieved of duty. But Mark Milley has not been relieved of duty, and apparently he won't be. Today,
Well, again,
Joe
you know,
Biden
it
endorsed
wouldn't
him
matter what
as a
side you're
job
on. It's
issue.
going to lead you to the right answer. This is what
Sir,
that's
you
going to
better
do.
really do the right thing,
Come on,
sir.
thank you.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Run, let's go.
The right
Thank
thing.
you.
I have
Thank you.
great confidence in General Milley.
So for secretly revealing American military strategy to the Chinese
You gotta
government, for threatening
break out that
violence
fucking
against the
Excel
sitting
and
American
PowerPoint,
president,
brother.
Mark Milley is not
You know,
going to be
that's
punished.
what it is.
Are
Put
you
down.
surprised
I
by
win.
this? Maybe you shouldn't be. In
Okay,
Washington,
now,
this
when I
is
say
normal,
these are the
colluding with
people
the
going to do
Chinese
this
government
fucking
is not considered a
presentation
sin.
for me,
It's not even weird.
give me a call if they
Watch
mess
this
up.
video of Milley from 2015 as he explains that China somehow is not a threat to us.
Your Honor.
Is Russia a greater threat to the U.S. than ISIS right now?
Yemen, Haiti, China,
I said in
Russia,
testimony
everybody.
that I considered Russia the number one threat to the United States. Russia is the only country on earth.
At the end of
that
it, you know,
has
the
capability
cost to the cost,
to
I'm
destroy
thinking,
the
what
United
are
States
you
of America.
trying to
It's
do,
an
great
existential threat by
Leonoptericus
definition.
Raptosaurus,
China is
motherfuckers
not
try
an enemy.
humans?
They are going to develop themselves and are developing themselves into a great power. That is not to say,
If
however,
you
that they're
mention
an
one
enemy,
fucking word
and it
about
is not
race
to
in my
imply
class,
or
I'm gonna
say
boot you so
that
hard in the
conflict with
balls
China
you
is
land on,
inevitable.
Mar.
So Milley thinks China's winning, and so he's sucking up to his new master.
Oppenheimer,
So he
Vishnu,
tells us,
Shiva,
quote, Russia is
Kali,
the only country on
Valentine,
earth that
Rabbit,
has
son,
the
you will
capacity
become.
to destroy the United
That's
States.
a flaming hydrogen
absurd.
chainsaw
Nobody
monster
believes that.
running
The Chinese
around under the
military is
sheets.
far,
Fucking
far
Omega
more
black
powerful than
body
anything
problem
Vladimir
inside
Putin
of here.
controls. It's not
Figure
even
out the
close.
ray light and genes
Milley knows
Maxwell
that.
black
He's
body
lying about
problem.
it, and that should make you
Objects
very nervous.
heating
Why is he
up
lying
on
about
black
that? No one in
hole.
Congress seems to care at all.
Lens, oh,
People
whatever.
with
Neutron stars are
oversight
definitely black
seem to
holes.
be on his
It's some
side.
stack on the matter,
This
whatever
morning, Tom Cotton, the
composition. So it's
Republican senator
iron,
from Arkansas,
maybe
came
some
on
stuff
Fox
that
and
could be
Friends to talk
compared to
about
the
Mark Milley. He was
atmosphere
part of that
and
conversation.
on Earth in America.
This book raises some serious concerns. I'd say some of the allegations seem somewhat far-fetched to me.
Oh no, this
but
is
General
flimsy.
Milley and Secretary
I think this
Austin are
is
going to be
the
testifying in front of
Marines. I'm not
Congress
sure,
in just a
but
few
it's
days, and
definitely,
we'll address
yeah,
these
whatever
concerns.
Space
We
Force
don't
or
want to jump
no,
in conclusions yet. I know he will address
Oh,
it,
there's some
and
videos,
we'll
yeah, all
ensure
about
that he
who can,
addresses
I mean,
it. But this is one of
everything
those
you can
claims,
mention,
obviously,
everything.
that seems a little far-fetched, the idea that an American military general is going to warn an adversary if an attack is coming. As you say,
257-page
when
bill
Donald
about
Trump was never
doing
even
it,
thinking about
figuring
a
out
military
how much
attack
is
against
really in
China,
this
the
monster
whole
right
thing
here.
is pretty far-fetched.
Oh, we don't want to jump.
Oh, no. So this is the
conclusions.
inverted
Yeah.
square
Really?
law.
What
No,
conclusion?
yeah, inverted square
At the
law.
time that
Gives
interview
me
took
all
place
the matrix,
this
superposition,
morning, it had already been
and quantum
conclusively
order.
established that Mark Milley
There's
was
some
pushing
things.
open
It's pretty good. You can
racism
tell
on the United
people
States
been
military.
working this one.
That he had bragged to fellow officers about resisting the American president, quote, with guns, and that he had told
Now do it
military
once.
officials that he,
That's it.
not
Go
the
out on
president,
boot.
controlled
That's
our
what it
country's
is.
nuclear
Every nut
arsenal.
and bolt in it, I'm
How
sure.
much more
because,
evidence do you need exactly? And
That,
why does no one in
that.
Washington
That's
consider
what this
a
thing is supposed to
crisis?
do
The
on the
leadership of the
checklist
Pentagon.
form.
Some of them, anyway, constitute a threat to the United States.
TMI.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here